Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
You have joined Dr. Teresa Smith, host of Talk with TAS, and I have with me a woman of faith, a best-selling Christian author who specializes in relationships. She's been married 50-some years. Now, that ain't how long she's been with her mate. They've been together a long time.
Yeah.
And she understands what it means to stay committed through the rain, through the friction. And so whenever we get together, we talk leadership, we talk passion for helping others in their romantic life, and then just in their life as a whole. And so here today, she's going to help us embrace our work and silence our inner critic. Now, you may say, well, how are we going to embrace our work? Because she just said you knew it would rain and you saw a sign. But anyway, and then we got to trust that divine blueprint for our life. So, Dr. Velma, welcome back to Talk with TAS. Okay. Now, my question was, why am I complaining then? Because you said I saw the sign, I heard the weather report. Then why am I complaining?
Exactly. And why aren't you taking a moment to assess how you got into this place? We should always do that. You hear the stories about, I keep meeting the same guys, I keep ended up in it. Well, you need to assess where you are and why you're attracting these kind of men. And that's what's important. It's like, God can give us a key ring full of keys, but if you don't know how to use the keys, it's like the keys we have sometimes at home. We have a whole bunch of keys on the key ring and we don't know what fits what lock. We may know one or two, but there's a whole bunch of keys on there. We have no idea what they're supposed to go to. And that's the way it is with us. We just don't continue to have the conversation around this. We've been given the keys. But when was the last time you checked to see what key was appropriate? What key fits what lock? And so there's a reason red flags are called red, but we ignore them. We don't look at the right things. We look at temporary things, what I call conditions, what it looks like now, versus deeper things, characteristics and character of the person. We don't explore those things. We just go out as if we're in high school, having high school dating parties, rather than really examining the heart of the person to see if this person is the right one for you. That takes hard questions. Going into a marriage relationship is like going into a business contract. I need to examine who you are. I need to know that your reputation is what you say. I need to know your business financials are where you say they are. Why are we doing that? Why aren't we examining who this person really is? But hey, we see the signs of rain, and because this is what I want, I keep going.
I'm working out. I'm going to keep going. Well, now, Dr. Velma, now it seems to me that given that as our backdrop, the question becomes, what does it mean for me as a woman or man to embrace our God-given worth? Because I'm thinking it's got to be, I'm not planted with the understanding of what that is.
That's
that keeps me from being, keeps me, that, let me say, how can I say that? You know what I'm saying, but let me say it for the audience.
Yes.
Because I don't embrace that and I'm secure, I'm grounded in that, then I get distracted. I hear them saying it's going to rain, but I don't pay it any attention. I see the raindrops falling, but I still go out without an umbrella, a raincoat, galoshes, and it's raining every day, and I'm getting wet, and I'm just still going out. Is it because I can't understand and hold on to that God-given work that he sees in me and I don't see it?
I think you don't embrace it, you don't accept it, you don't acknowledge it. Because when you embrace your value, then that takes you to a whole different level in how you determine if the person is the right fit for you. I heard an IG episode the other day where the person said, well, he's just not your type. If he can DM you real quick, but he can't DM and get a message to God, then hey, that's not your type. because he at
Mhm.
least should be able to pray or know how to talk to God.
Mhm.
And so what happens is we've lost our way and we forget that your value is important. It's not about his value or even the guys who's looking for their mate. It's not
Mhm.
about her value. Do you embrace who God says you are? And if you do, you'll stop to make sure he measures that level because that's what's important. Some people are great, have embraced their abilities and skill sets, and careers are going great. And there's a syndrome for those who are professional too. They misconstrue relationships with what they do at work and assume that because I slayed it at work, because I can turn things around, I can make it successful, I could do the same
Mhm.
thing with that person. And it doesn't work that way. And so we must start with first embracing who we are. Because if you don't, what's in you, your heart will continuously attract, like in the book, the catfish who loves garbage, the sturgeon who likes to nibble, because you don't value yourself, you don't measure yourself. So you'll take anybody that shows interest,
Mhm.
or even the pufferfish who, you know, could be successful, could be narcissistic too.
Mhm.
Got a lot of money, looks good, clean, and all those things, but it's crazy in the inside because the minute you agitate him, he puffs up 3 times his size with poisonous points coming out. So it's important that we do our job. And it's the same for men. The women can be just as treacherous and dangerous. Take your time to examine who they are. What's at the core of their heart? Who are they
Mhm.
really?
Mhm.
Not what's on the surface, because that's going to lie to you every time. And what's on the surface, those conditions, that changes over time. I am not that woman who marched down the aisle with my husband at 20 years old. Don't look at me now because this is not what I looked like. And the same for him. Big afro. Oh, Elvis has left the building. So does conditions matter in that sense? No. Look
Mhm.
at what's inside the person. We're not in high school anymore. It's time for us to examine, use a different strategy when we're looking for that lifelong mate. We need to examine who they are.
Well, now, Dr. Velma, Addie says, thank you. I like that, who God says you are.
Yeah.
How do I begin to examine what is being presented to me?
Stop falling for the fluff. Now, it depends on what you're doing in that moment. Are you asking? I'm not going out to have fun. I'm going out to determine if you're somebody I'd like to continue to talk with. Look, I remember when I was presenting to my own adult daughters, get specific with your questions. Stop just going out and having fun with people. If this is something you're seriously looking for, ask the right questions. So tell me, what's your intention in dating me? What was the reason you set aside time you wanted to spend this? If they can't get that sentence out, if they can't get a word out, just with that simple question,
Mhm.
continue to enjoy your food. And after that, you can lose that number. Stop wasting time. In the book, in the Catch series, The Book of Fools, gives you all kinds of examples of foolish behavior. Those are scriptures God has already given to us. I only used 80, He has over 200.
Mhm.
But those simple things, it's like going into business with a person. You are not going to accept fluff. That's the reason you examine the financials. That's the reason you look at the reputation of the business. If I'm going to sign this contract, I need to make sure that you are who you say you are, that you can do what you say you can
Yes.
do, that you've proven it over time. There's examples, there's customers that can validate that you are who. Why aren't we doing that when we're considering a person for a serious relationship? So it works for business too. So in that book of fools, a fool has said in his heart, there is no God. A fool also hates wisdom and understanding. A fool already thinks they know everything, so you cannot contribute to anything that they have to say. A fool does not listen. A fool loves foolishness. So if you start there and you see those things, why am I trying to sign on the dotted line with you? That's so important.
I
So
like
it's
them
huh?
because I like them. They look good. They make me feel good. I'm their queen. He my she he's my king. Yeah, whatever, vice versa. Yeah, yeah.
Well, then that's high school. That's what it is. We're talking about grown folks and we're talking about a serious relationship. We're talking about a marriage that God has ordained and said that we're to become one in. You'll never become one with a fool. because it's got his own pattern, his own way of doing things, and he doesn't listen to anybody. No wise advice, nothing. So that's what you're going to deal with for the rest of your life. It's more about a wedding event than it is about marriage. How have you prepared yourself for the marriage? Anybody can become a wife and anybody can become a husband. But how have you prepared yourself for that role that you're going to have?
I'm working on myself, but I still hear those haters, and I got to figure out how do I shut out those haters because I know something, because, we talked about evaluation. Well,
Yes.
I'm going to take a deep dive of myself, but also I may have a trusted person that I'm asking to give me some
Hmm.
feedback. Now, there is a difference between constructive, excuse me, guys, constructive feedback and them toxic voices
Yes.
who mean, they trying to keep you down. They, for whatever reason, how do I distinguish between the haters that are trying to keep me bound and unhappy and those individuals who are really trying to help me? But understand now, guys, what I'm saying, because most time the people that's trying to help you, oh, help me somebody. Oh, that was my great uncle's
Hmm.
phrase,
Yes.
help me somebody.
Yes.
Those individuals are going to tell you stuff you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And the people that really don't mean you no good. Hear what I'm
Hmm.
saying. It may be
Hmm.
poor English, but I want it to be poor English
I
it
know.
is.
I
They
know.
don't mean you no good. They gonna
Right.
tell you all these great things. They gonna be blowing smoke up your baba baba baba.
Hmm.
But the people that tell you the truth, that constructive feedback, you don't necessarily want to hear it because then it's like, bam.
Yeah.
So how do we grasp on to the people who mean us well and I guess put aside our pride so that we can actually hear it with our in our ears,
Yes.
understand
Yes.
it with our
And
mind, and
accept
be okay with
it.
it in our heart?
Hmm.
Yes.
We used to refer to them as the inner circle, but I refer to them as the parade around principle. You need a group of people that will be involved in this process with you so that they can help to vet this person. A daughter who brought a guy home, the father was the responsible person to help to vet him. We don't have that kind of stuff anymore. And many of
Mhm.
us, the father doesn't exist, or we're a lot older than a father can be involved. So it's good to have an inner circle, a group of people that has the same values and faith that you have that can help to vet that person where the father used to do that. And those are the people that you would trust. Those opinions you will value. Those are the opinions that will help you along the way. So you would personally choose those. And those are the only ones that you would listen to. That's the only group that you would invite conversation about this person. And it's important because I've seen a lot of women will hide the guys they're dating, hide the guys they're interested in. And who created that craziness?
Mhm.
Many, some of them ended up in a ditch, no longer here because you hid him. Because those things that you probably missed, those signs that you didn't, pay attention to, your small group of supporters could have picked up on some of those things, and you didn't allow that to happen. So it's important. It's not an isolated experience. You should have a small group of people that can help to validate who this person is. And so that's important. And the acronym I was looking for was SWOT, the SWOT
Oh, yeah.
analysis.
Mhm. Mhm.
Analysis,
Mhm.
strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You need to
Sure.
know
Mhm.
what are these things about you, but also about him as well.
Now, Addie said, just want to ask, do we do the courtship before dating? And if yes, do I be friends with people to know the one who is truly a bone of my bones and flesh of my
No,
flesh? So do we do the courtship before dating?
no. Let's just clarify. Dating is not in scripture. It's courtship strictly, period. Because this is what you want to do. You want this to end in marriage. But today, because of the difficulties and the things that people hide today, dating is just used for you to get to know that person to determine if this is going to move on. So this is the stage where you actually get to know who this person is, validate what they believe, validate their values and faith according to what you believe, to see if all of that is present before you make a determination if you're going to move very seriously into courtship. But you got to get to know your friends in the beginning because remember, if something does not add up, then you lose that number. You move on. So there's no strings attached. You don't wait to courtship to do that. I remember I was reviewing questions that are used sometimes in pre-marriage counseling. My husband was a pastor for 10 years, and we used to sit together in pre-marriage counseling. And I think some of those questions are too late. So I've been putting together some questions I think are important to ask in the very beginning.
Mhm.
And yes, it's an interview. Yes, you're going to get some questions. So get
Mhm.
comfortable and be ready to
Mhm.
answer it, because I need to have some answers to some of these things. And so it's important that you ask the right things in the very beginning. That's why that one question I said earlier, so what's your intention in dating me? That's critical.
Mhm.
And some guys can't even formulate a sentence. Some of
Mhm.
them can't even get their thoughts straight. Some of them have no clue because their motives are not clear. And
Yes.
some have an ulterior motive.
Yes.
So you got to make sure that you at least start there. Some people say it's important for you to start with questions. We're so in a hurry to go out on a date.
Mhm.
Talk.
Mhm.
DMs don't work. You need to hear
No.
tone. You need to hear a level of conversation, the tone of the voice, all of that. If it changes in the conversation, you need to hear all of
Mhm.
that before you go and meet them face to face. But we're in a hurry. We'll go meet a stranger down at the restaurant, and we don't even know who this person is. So take your time in that, what I call the world's definition of dating. Take your time during the dating process, because that's the time you can lose numbers, you can block people. That's the time you can just, okay, not the one. But when the questions start coming and you start to hear the kind of answers you're looking for, then that should pique your interest. And that should make you want to meet the person in person. And so that's when you begin to slowly determine if this is something that you want, or he wants, or you feel like God is saying, take your time, this is the one. Then you move into courtship. But courtship is that serious place
Mhm.
that you've already taken this person through a series of questions and examination to see who they are. That's when you move into that next phase. But courtship does not happen that quickly. And today, it's pretty dangerous to move that quickly.
It is. And thank you for clarifying those steps, Dr. Velma, that
Hmm.
getting to know you stage,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
uh,
Because
and,
I don't
and
know
that can,
you.
I don't know you. And
Hmm.
that could be a year to depend upon, because people don't always live in the same
That's right.
state.
Stop rushing.
Also, we may be talking on the phone, but I want to see you a couple of times too.
Yeah,
So again, it's there is no set time limit for each piece of it.
absolutely. Absolutely. This is
And
my
I
life. Like in business, I'm not going to rush and get into a contract because you say you're making all this money, because you say you're successful, because you say I'm going to do my examination of all these facts to
yeah,
make sure they're credible, that
it's
they're
done.
true. It's the same in looking for a person you're going to spend the rest of your life. You're going to enter a covenant. So shouldn't they pass the muster?
But Dr. Velma, you make it seem like relationship is business.
It is. A covenant is serious. It
Did he not
is.
did he not put Adam to sleep, pull out that rib and make that woman so that he would have a helpmate? Well, help, let's just work with the word help. So let's
Mhm.
help in business, help in this, help in all aspects of his life. As you call it the covenant, I'm gonna call it the contract, I'm gonna call it business. Relationship is business.
Yes, it is. It's a responsibility we have before God to honor Him because He instituted it and He had a purpose and plan in mind when He did it. Now, so since you brought up the rib, think about it. Everybody has a missing rib.
Mhm,
We used to have more.
mhm,
Everybody has occasionally an extra rib around the neck.
mhm.
So if God has a person for you and this is His plan, it is the man's job to find that missing rib because it was taken. So where
Thinking,
is it? And do you match? Are you that match? Are you that missing rib?
no.
Come on now.
Don't and don't feel bad if you not, because
Mm-mm.
your Adam is gonna find you.
He's
You
gonna
won't.
find you.
DNA is important because blood type is important. You because now I'm talking it from a blood transfusion, and I got the right man's rib, and he's the right man. The blood transfusion, if it's not the same type, we don't
Girl,
mix. We
is
don't
he
mix.
your type?
Oh,
That you
that's a
raised
whole
another one.
nother
Is he
series we
your
might
type?
have to do.
Hmm. That's right.
No, he's not my type. Good
Hmm.
person. Good person. But he's not my type.
Somebody else's person.
Somebody else's person. And we have to get big enough, guys, for the men and the
That's
women, to
right.
let the person go so they can be with their person. Because the man, he gonna
Right.
find his right
That's right.
person. And the person that's for you will find you. But if you keep
Hmm.
hanging on to the wrong person, the
Hmm.
wrong type, and I already said you can't give me a blood transfusion and we don't have the same blood type.
That's right.
It don't
That's
work.
right. No. And you got to
That means you're going to
understand
kill the person. And think about it, Dr. Velma. That's what really begins to happen.
this. Hmm.
Somebody is beginning to go down in the relationship. You're
Hmm.
dying.
Hmm.
Guys, that was a nugget, and I hope y'all get it. And those who are going to watch this on the replay or who will listen to this,
That's
let
right.
us know because we might have to do something about that blood type because I subscribe to the blood type as far as how I'm supposed to eat. Long before I had the
Mhm.
gastric sleeve surgery,
Yeah.
Dr. Velma, and I still
Yes.
eat according to my blood type.
Uh-huh.
But let's just look at that blood type as far as relationships now. What
Right.
are some practical spiritual tools that women or men can use daily to build resilience and protect their sense of identity, their sense of worth, that they are worthy?
Hmm. First, you must spend some time with God. I mean, if you want him to be a part of the process, he's the third cord. The threefold cord cannot easily be broken, but God has to be in the midst of the process, even in these early stages. Somebody mentioned online, I think is Go Daddy T. In
Mhm.
marriage, can God definition of love be the center point? It should always be. One of the biggest problems we have is that we're looking for love or looking for a human to give us the kind of love that only God can give you. So stop. The very first person you should be in love with is God Himself. God is the definition of love. So I don't have to give a definition of love. God is the definition of love. And so, therefore, scripture tells us we must love the Lord God first. So let's look at the tiers of love. First, there's your love for God. And if that is not in place, you're going to try to lump all these things on a human being that God only is the one that can provide you. I can't
Mhm.
be satisfied with any human being that in a way that God can satisfy my need for love. He is the definition of love. Then he says you have to love yourself. So that's the second tier, loving yourself. And you'd be surprised how many people don't. We talked about brokenness. We talked about unresolved issues in the past. Do you love you? Have you embraced what he says about you? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And Dr. Todd just said in the very beginning, God saw something that was not good. He said, you know what? We need to make something that's going to fix this thing that's not good. And what are we going to make? Woman is going to be what's good for this not good situation. And so those are some of the things you need to hold on to because you are valuable, more valuable than a ruby, scripture says. And a man, for him, you are the crown of his life. His crowning achievement is you. But you can't be that if you're broken. You haven't fixed what you need to fix. You're not in love with God. You don't love yourself. So you got to get the tears fixed first because the man falls into tier three with everybody else. And so it is with
Mhm.
the man. God is first, then himself, and then the wife falls into tier three, which is with everybody else. And then you love others like you love God. And so it's important for us to make sure we start there, get our lives fixed first, right there, get solid there. Uncover those things that you're holding on, that Paul says you're carrying around the waist, and let that stuff go. If you truly want this, and God wants that for you, then you will let go of the stuff you need to let go of and just move on. And then let God bring you to a place of peace and love. Watch him find you. Because it's the heart he should be examining, not what's on the outside.
Because that changes. And it
Oh
changes
yeah.
so quickly. Because anything can happen these days. Because you've been with your husband for over 50 years. But
Mm-hmm.
you talk about your ever since left the building because I know your husband had the afro. He doesn't have the
Mm-hmm.
afro now.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have to take that many years, guys. Things happen like that. And if your love was superficial, it's gonna be hard to
Yes.
stay committed to someone when life changes in the blink of an eye.
Absolutely.
So how do you help to guide them towards a perspective that brings them some peace, um, even when answers are out of reach? Because the answers may be out of reach because they're just not ready yet to understand their role in what is happening in their life. Why, why did this happen to me?
I go back to what we were talking about in the beginning. You attract what you attract. It has nothing to do with that other person. It's you. And so you should be examining your heart to determine what's in there that's causing this to happen. You should be doing that SWOT analysis and doing an assessment as to why I do this. Why am I like this? Find out those things. You should be examining whether or not I talked about earlier the 3 tiers of love. If that's not the way it is right now, you should be looking at that because your whole heart should be with God at this point, not with some other person. That comes later. And so if you haven't examined your heart, you haven't figured out what's broken, you haven't figured out what you're dragging around, it's causing you to attract. Remember the catfish and the catch series, the catfish is the one that loves garbage. One of the things he loves the most. Catfish loves smelly dead things. Your heart is not sure. Your heart, there's poor confidence, there's no self-esteem, there's you don't value yourself. Those are smells that a catfish can pick up on right away. He knows you're not sure of yourself. He knows that you have poor self-confidence, poor self-esteem. He can smell it. And so you need to examine what's happening with you. Your heart is not the other person, it's you.
Well, Dr. Velma, I'm reminded of several things. A person said to me once, when you meet someone, which is exactly what you just said, this was a gentleman, he said, what is you have to examine what you are needing or wanting at that point in time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And once you can figure that out,
Mm-hmm.
you can then determine why you got what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Now, guys, now Dr. Velma said it one way, now this person said it another way.
Mm-hmm.
And I really got it as you
Mm-hmm.
were talking. I finally got the answer to the question that he was asking me. I
Right.
didn't have the answer,
Mm-hmm.
but I got it today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the back of the new book,
Mm-hmm.
Hold Your Head Up,
Uh-huh.
Princess Expanded Story. Now, princess, for what we're talking about, can be man or woman, because we're talking about those principles that are going to help you discover your power of embracing your true worth and the value of learning to apply love, self-love, and acceptance. But that means you got to do that SWOT now. That's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. You got to embrace your qualities, and that's the good qualities and those that are not so good. You got to be honest with yourself about who you really are, that true identity, and then use them to overcome the attacks, the criticism of those people who are really your the haters that you thought were in your inner circle. Oh, come on here,
Mm-hmm.
black gal. They was
Yes.
in your inner circle, but they were never in your inner circle,
No.
baby. Never
Yeah.
your inner circle.
Yeah.
You were their inner circle, cheering them on.
Yeah.
But they were never cheering you on. And then the lies from the other
Mm-hmm.
people, but I'm gonna throw this in, Dr. Bellman. Them
Mm-hmm.
lies that we be
Mm-hmm.
telling ourselves. We be
That's it.
lying to ourselves too now. We
Yes,
lying to
that's true.
ourselves. So this book,
Mm-hmm.
now y'all heard Dr. Velma. You know
Mm-hmm.
she's good. Well, she got the Catch series too. Now she's gonna tell you about how you can get all these good books. But this is the latest book, and I have already done a review. My goal is to get the review out tomorrow, so you guys can see me talking about this
Aw,
book and a
that's so
couple of
sweet.
things that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dr. Velma, tell them how they can get the new book and all of your books, and how they can stay in contact with you.
Look, all of my books are on Amazon. That's the easiest way to get it. And I love the fact that many of them are on audiobooks now. So if you a busy person, you just want to listen to the book and not read it yourself, then you have that as an option. So feel free to go onto Amazon under Dr. Velma Bagby and find the books that I have and help yourself. And I love the fact that you did something different. You said for the guys too, because if you look at the word princess, the first 5 letters says prince. It's the son as well as the daughter.
Yes.
We are sons and daughters of the king. And so I love what Dr. Toss just said. That blessed me when you said that. I said, oh my gosh, look at that.
I love that black man. Guys, I've always called him the black man since I was a little
Mm-hmm.
girl. That's how I refer
Yeah.
to God and Jesus, that black man from Galilee. He walked out on the water. He
Yes.
calmed the
Yes.
raging sea.
From the
That black
wrong
man,
side of town with the
that's a
funny
whole,
dialect. With the funny dialect.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
My God, my God. Dr. Velma, I always enjoy you being with me, and I
Mm-hmm.
thank everyone else for being with me. Now, remind them of how they can stay in contact with you.
Well, feel free to do two things for me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to catch one of the podcasts, Dr. Velma Talks Dating, Relationships, and Marriage. That's coming back soon. So if you want to catch the podcast, you can sign up to be reminded and it'll give you the notification. And then to my website, drvelmabagby.com. But I'm on all social media platforms, so feel free to connect with me on any of them. I look forward to hearing from you. Dr. Toss, I'm going to have to get back on your calendar because I always have a ball with you and our conversations. I enjoy your conversations with Mom and Angera, so I'm looking forward to coming back.
Well, I am looking forward to you being back because, like you said, every time, and I got to say this, and yeah, because I'm so transparent. I believe, I can't remember whose song that is, but I believe Marvin
Mm-hmm.
Sapp. Oh, I believe.
Okay.
I think when he does that, I'm gonna call it the reframe, but it's when he does the extended version. He said, "Satan is hitting you with everything because he's looked over into your future. He sees what God's about to bring you
Mm-hmm.
into." Every
Mm-hmm.
time that Dr. Velma tries to come on my show, now this is no
Mm-hmm.
joke, guys. There's always a hiccup,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that says to me we are supposed to bless somebody. And
Mm-hmm.
every time we say we're going to do it anyway, because every time there's a hiccup. But every time I know I get something from it, and I believe the audience gets something from it. And
Mm-hmm.
whomever is supposed to get it, they
I
get it
hope
because
so.
it makes I believe it
Yes,
because
ma'am.
it makes no sense
No.
that every time we have a struggle.
Right.
Every time.
Right.
But we always persevere. So my
Yes.
final message to the audience is Dr. Velma has given us Prince. Princess, hold your head up. We've talked about how you can claim your self-worth. You are valuable.
Mm-hmm.
You are important.
Mm-hmm.
There's a plan for your life. There's
Right.
a person out there who's going to be a part of your God's plan for you
Yeah.
from a romantic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get yourself together
Yes.
first. This
Yes.
book will
Mm-hmm.
help you get yourself
Mm-hmm.
together. Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Velma can help you get yourself together. Embrace humility, as I say to my doctoral
Yes.
students. Relationships is an exercise in
Yes,
humility.
it is.
And
And
I've never
grace.
been married, but I understand it is
Yeah.
because you got two warring people because I want my way, he wants his way, and all in between. But if you're going to come together,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have to exercise humility. So Dr. Velma also is available to help you with exercise and humility. She didn't say it, but I'm going to say it.
Yes.
And so, again, thank you
Thank
guys for joining
you,
us.
Dr. Toss.
Thank you, Dr. Velma. And until next time, before you go trying to take care of somebody else, make sure you take care of yourself first. You might need to do that SWOT because I love a SWOT. I do love
Yes,
a
me
SWOT.
too. Me too.
Bye now.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you.
Mhm.